you are in Australia and New Zealand, please share the message with your teams. We need to get everybody, hundreds of people on this incredible meeting, training, conference, success webinar, whatever you want to call it today. Welcome everybody. Thank you for being here for our monthly South Pacific Success Training. Welcome everyone in Australia and welcome everyone in New Zealand. It's lovely to see you. I love reading all the chats as everyone drops in. Okay, yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to our team. Hello, Ange Parkey here in Sydney. Ange is our support person for Australia and New Zealand. And welcome to our manager for Australia and New Zealand, Claire Duke, up on the Gold Coast, showing off about, you know, Gold Coast lifestyle and how beautiful it is. Lucky you, Claire. Welcome. And for those of you that I have yet to have the privilege to meet, my name is Pamela Ferry, and I'm your General Manager for the South Pacific region. So let's get started. I can see those numbers jumping in. We've got leaders getting on. I'm sure you've all had lots of other meetings this morning and we're just happy to see you on here today. Claire's showing up a little booklet here. Claire's so good, she texts me, make sure you've got your booklet printed out. We all need one of those people in our lives, right? So I boomed that printer next to my desk and off we went. Here we go. So we have an exceptional human here today to share with you. I met Keith in another lifetime, in another role, and absolutely loved his work. I loved his connection with distributors, his understanding of distributors, and the needs of people running a home-based business, and you know, the special areas that we focus on and that we know are so important for the growth in our businesses, which especially is leadership. And it's also about having an action plan and setting goals around that plan. So having your success roadmap, as we like to call it at LifeVantage. So all of the pieces I could see and Claire could see for our markets here in the South Pacific are areas that Keith Abraham really focuses on. And I believe he can deliver a lot to all of you here today and beyond. So super excited. So a little bit of background on Keith Abraham. He's up near the Gold Coast as well, residing. And Keith's the author of 5 books. He's showing off his background, whatever. You got the surf, it's beautiful. And he's had a 25-year speaking career, and he's presented to over 1.6 million people across 33 countries. Within our industry, though, he has worked with 150,000 leaders across 5 countries and with 10 big network marketing companies. So Keith really knows and understands our business model. Lately, Keith's been working a lot on adapting with COVID and working on, you know, this new, which he was just helping us before, we've talked about on our prep calls about the importance of lighting when you're doing, you know, Zoom business meetings and, you know, the other pieces. You'll see Keith has a lovely background there. Okay, Keith, I'm a work in progress. And so Claire's got her LifeVantage behind her. So we're really working on those skills of the importance of having your virtual office to look professional when you're facilitating maybe a recruiting call or a business training. So Keith's really moving also into that area and keeping innovative. And also we want to learn more about his training in the area of how do you kind of adapt from working face-to-face and building face-to-face to really having successful runs on virtual meetings. So we might talk about that, Keith, if we've got time later.
Yeah.
I hope you've all got your books printed out. I've got my workbook ready to go. Everyone loves a tangible workbook. Print them out or do them online. Really helpful and a great tool to keep for later. So get your workbooks ready. And we're going to talk about how to focus on what's most important in your business now. Who's ready? If you're ready, drop a ready in the chat right now. And so now I'm going to hand over to you, Keith. Welcome, Keith Abraham.
Well, thanks very much, Pamela, for the kind introduction and the lovely words. Well, there's so many people that are ready. I suppose we should get started. Morning, afternoon, wherever you may be, thanks for joining us this morning. You know, as Pamela was saying, 16 weeks ago when COVID first hit, my experience with virtual was zero. The only thing I'd ever done with virtual was an interview and perhaps even, just a client briefing session, but that was it. So I decided when all of my business went out the door to 2021, I decided to become masterful at doing virtual. And here's the message I gave to all my clients. In the first 3 weeks when COVID hit, I contacted 300 of my clients, 100 clients a week, 20 clients a day, just to reach out and say, are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? And one of the things that I noticed that the clients kept on saying to me, oh, Keith, we've just got to get through this. And it got me thinking, I don't think COVID is the thing you get through. I think COVID is what you grow through. And so this is not about just getting through COVID, getting to the other side. This is about growing yourself, growing your business, growing your relationships with your team and with those prospective customers and prospective distributors for your business. So the first message I want to give you is that this session is about growth. In actual fact, I want to cover off 3 things with you today, if it be so kind. So let me go to a quick little flip chart here and just here's what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about clarity, because here's what we do know: with clarity comes confidence. And with confidence comes a higher degree of consistency. Give me a Y in the chat box if you are consistently inconsistent. Is that anybody on this call, or is that just me sometimes? Yeah, good. Thanks, Josie. Thanks, Patricia. Thanks, Leah. And so to do all of this, guess what we have to do? We need to change. And more importantly, as we change and evolve, we need to make sure that we are connecting with our distributors, with our prospective clients. So today what I want to talk to you about is clarity, change, connecting, and making sure that you're consistently consistent. Is that okay with people so far? And so the hardest thing you're going to have to do today is you're going to have to think, write, and you're going to have to use the chat box. I'm going to use the chat box a lot as we go through. So just to make sure you're engaged and enthused and energized from this process. So let's jump into it. So here's what we want to do. Here's what I can tell you is that most people in direct sales fit into one of these 4 categories. 3% of people go and make things happen, 10% of people think or expect things to happen, 60% of people just watch things happen, and 27% of people don't know what happened. Does that make sense? So you want to be in this top 3%. You want to be in this 3% and making things happen in your business and in your life. So how do you do that? Well, the one thing you've got to do is you've got to master what's next. You've got to master what's next, what's new, and what's necessary. You've got to engage your people. You have to, let me just bring this up full screen so you can see it really well. You've got to engage your people. You've got to develop your leaders, including yourself. And you have to grow your business. You have to create this massive momentum as part of this process and making sure that you can do that as part. So, engage, develop, grow. I want to spend this session just talking about you, about clarifying your goals, about identifying what you need to be consistent with, mindset, and I want to talk to you about how do you connect virtually. Because if this is our new world, then let's become good at it. I said to you before, I spent 40 hours of research, because I'd never done anything like that. 40 hours of research on how to set up a studio. I spent another 4 weeks learning how to do virtual, how to use the overhead, how to make sure the background's right, etc., etc. So I want to share those techniques with you as we go through. So here's the first piece of the puzzle. When the why becomes clear, the how becomes easy. Unless you've got a big enough reason why to build your business, unless you've got a big enough reason why, in actual fact, do me a favor, take that as a photo on your screen, because that's the quote you want to remember from this event today. You want to remember that you need to have a big enough reason why. 3, 2, 1, gone. And so making sure that you're really crystal clear as part of this process. So how do you do that? You've got to get clear on what your goals are. Page 3 in your workbook. Here's what I can tell you. Unless you've got an emotional connection. Now, as an adult, you can experience 135 different emotions as an adult. 64 of them are positive. After 17 years of research, what I can share with you is that unless you have an emotional, mental, and physical connection to your goal, you'll never truly be committed, compelled, or connected to it. So when I start talking about the emotional connection, the mental connection, and more importantly, the physical connection, this is about feel, think, and do. Heart, head, hands. Why, what, how. But it has to start with why. You see, your leaders in this business can tell you what you need to do and how you need to do it. It's interesting often sometimes when I'm working in direct sales, and you know, for the last 25 years, that's been a large part of my business. And as Pamela said in the kind introduction, I've worked with more than 150,000 leaders in direct sales. In actual fact, last year I got invited to speak to the top 16 CEOs of the biggest direct marketing businesses in the world, including your CEO. And I got invited out of all the presenters, all the consultants, to work with them for about half a day in Mexico City, and talking to them about how to apply this process to their business moving forward. Feel, think, do. So here's what I can tell you. Of those 64 emotions, they break down into 8 what I call goal drivers. These are your driver. When you know what your driver is, you will do the uncomfortable, the inconvenient, and the unknown. When you first got into this business, you probably didn't know too much about it, but you learn as you go along. You humble yourself enough to sit at the feet of a master, your upline, whether they be a Elite Pro 7, Elite Pro 9, and you immerse yourself, because they've already blazed a pathway in front of you. They've always done that. It never ceases to amaze me that people get into this business and they want to do it their own way, even though these people have already been successful and have already built a great business. Seriously. Anyway, feel, think, do. So what does that look like? In page 4, there are 8 core goal drivers. I'm going to walk you through each of these 8, and then you need to pick one. You need to pick what is going to be your driver for the next 3 months in building your Life Vantage business. So here's the first one. Here's what 17 years of research can tell us. People want to feel successful. People want to feel purposeful. People want to feel inspired. People want to feel happy. People want to feel organized. People want to feel respected. People want to feel confident, and people want to feel relaxed. Now, here's what I want you to think a little bit about. Don't have to ponder it too much. There are written examples for each of them, but here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to pick for me which one of these. How do you want to feel about your Life Advantage business in the next 3 months? You know, get us through October, November, December. How do you want to feel about your business in that period of time? And so what I'd love you to do is type that in the chat box for me, if you'd be so kind. Let me come back over here and see what some of the amazing, how do you want to feel? Can you jot that in the chat box for me now? I'm going to have a little bit of, all right, Sam, you want to feel successful. Karen, confident. Susan, purposeful, love it. Inspired. Vera, purposeful. Carolyn, purposeful. Yep, good. Relaxed, Inspired, Mary. Yep, wonderful. I can't keep up with these, by the way. Thank you, Michael. You want to feel inspired, confident and organised. Catherine, you're going for 2 bites of the cherry there. That's okay. Pamela, excited. Robin, organised. Tina, purposeful. Wonderful. Purposeful, Patricia. Lovely. Beautiful. Fantastic. You guys get this. Very smart. Very clever. Like it. So here's what I can tell you is once you know what your driver is, then that energizes, enthuses and engages you. You know, I have been a student of the goal setting process for the last 30 years. Read every book, gone to every seminar, and what I can tell you is unless you have all three, unless you have the emotional, mental and physical connection, you'll never truly be compelled, committed or connected to your goal, which means you won't do the uncomfortable, the inconvenient and the unknown. And so let me walk you through a 6-part goal driver formula. This is in your workbook. By the way, if you haven't already worked this out, this is not a let the information wash over your body virtual presentation. You have to work during this activity. The more you engage in it, the more you take away from it, the more you're connected to what you write down. So let's look at the first step of the process. Firstly, we're going to plan out your number 1 business goal next 3 months. What does that look like? First step, page 5 in your workbook, if you be so kind. I want you to write down for me, what's your goal driver? So just what you typed down, before in the chat box, I want you to write that on your workbook or type it in or whatever you want to do. If you haven't got the workbook, write it on a piece of paper, download it later on. So I want you to write in your goal driver. The second thing I want you to do, really important now, is I want you to write down your number 1 goal, the number 1 goal you want to achieve. So, you know, Pamela and Claire tell me you got an event coming up in January. And so you want to be walking across stage, you want to be recognised. So you've got 3 months. You can, by the way, what you do in the next 3 months sets you up for the next 2 years. I believe that. All my heart. What I do in the next 3 months in my business sets me up for the next 2 to 5 years. So in your business, not that I know your business that well, so you'll have to forgive me if I don't get the language right or anything like that, but what you do in the next 3 months will literally set you up. It'll pave a pathway in front of you to achieve what's important, what matters and what makes a difference to you. So you need to write down your goal. It's probably going to be a business level. So if you're new in the business, wow, it could be that, you know, Keith, I've only just joined a week ago. So maybe it's Pro 1, you know, maybe you want to move from distributor to Pro 1, maybe you want to be a Pro 5, you know, earning some additional income every month to supplement your household. Maybe in the next 3 months, what you're putting in place is you're going to make sure your plan B, your Life Advantage business, becomes your plan A. Maybe that's with all the uncertainty and craziness of COVID around. Maybe that's the goal. Maybe it's to put 5 people frontline. Maybe it's to put 10 more people downline. Maybe it's to increase your average product sale. I want you to get clear on what the number 1 goal is. If you could achieve just one thing, if I could wave a magic wand and make it come true, what's the one goal you'd love to achieve in the next 90 days, next 3 months? Write that down for me. Don't have to share that with me, by the way. Don't have to share that with me. Step 3 is really simple, time frame. So I've given you the time frame. So now you might think, Keith, 3 months is not enough. Okay, that's cool. Make it 6 months. But here's what you need to do. You need to write down specifically what the day, the date, the month, and the year is. The day, the date, the month. So what does that mean? You might have to pop open your phone. Don't check your Facebook feed. You're loved. You're liked. It's okay. I want you to check and go, what would be the end of the qualifying period for me to walk across stage in that conference early next year? So what would that be? Now, I want you also to start to think a little bit about, well, maybe 3 months is too far down the track. Maybe it's not far enough. I give that as a general, but you pick the time. You pick the time. And if you're unsure, talk to your upline. You say, could I achieve this by this time frame? And they might say, you know what, you probably need another month just to be able to achieve that. Or you know what, you'll smash that. So, time frame, step number 3. Step number 4 is 5 reasons why. See, here's what I can tell you. Unless you've got a big enough reason why, any excuse will do. Too hot, too cold, too many, too few, too little, too much, too hard, too easy. You have to come up with 5 reasons why. Ladies and gentlemen, if you cannot tell me 5 reasons why, the goal's not important enough to you. Does this make sense? Put a Y in the chat box if what I'm saying to you makes 100% sense to you. If you don't have a big enough reason why, any excuse will do. Thanks. Thanks, Josie. Thanks, Jess. Thanks, Tash. Wonderful, Christine. Susan, super. Yep. Wonderful, wonderful. Van, Michael, super. I'm seeing the same consistent names all the time. I appreciate you being so diligent around that. 5 reasons why. So, here's what I want you to write down for me. No more typing. What's the 5 reasons why for you? Because unless you've got a big enough reason why, every leader that has achieved anything in your business, not that I've met them, but I just know the type of people they are, has always had a big enough reason why. They wanted to sack the dud boss. They wanted to, bring their partner home. They wanted to be a full-time parent. They wanted to have a better house, live in a better suburb, drive a nicer car, go on better holidays, send their kids to a better school. Unless you've got a big enough reason why, you won't do it. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. You will do it until it gets difficult. And then it'll stop you. Because once you've got a big enough reason why, you can go over the roadblock, around the roadblock, or through the roadblock to get to what you want. So, step number 4, 5 reasons why. All right, step number 5, business growth. Wow. Now, here's what I want to do. Hand on heart, you have to be absolutely 100% honest, and you need to write this in the chat box for me. What is one thing you need to stop doing? And what is one thing you need to start doing? What's one thing you need to stop doing in your business to achieve that goal? And what is the one thing you need to start doing to achieve that goal? Type that in the chat box for me and let me get a little bit of feedback from you. Wow, what have we got here? Procrastinating. Wow, I should talk about that later. People pleasing. Oh, wow, they're all getting a little ahead of me, which is wonderful, by the way. Stop procrastinating. Stop wasting time. Start being organised. No, I should have told you that when I ask you to put things in the chat box, I'll always use your name unless you mark it private to me, and then I won't use your name. So just a caveat there. Making excuses. Yeah. How many people do you know that have just got a suitcase full of excuses? Oh, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's COVID, it's this, it's that, you know. Oh. Post, ask daily, stop drifting, yet follow up, making excuses, being unorganised. Oh, Sarah, Facebook scrolling. Oh, yeah. Isn't that the classic? Procrastinating, stop wasting time. Negative self-talk. Want to talk about that, Aja? I want to talk about that in a moment. Stop making excuses. Start consistent daily DMO. Daily something, daily moment. Oh, I'm sorry. Stop to saying too many yeses. Okay, yeah. Some people suffer from yesitis, by the way, Josie. You know, oh yeah, I'll do that. Oh yeah, I'll do that. Oh yeah, I'll do that. Oh yeah, which is just a way of avoiding what you really need to do. Or people pleasing. Stop being organised. Start being organised and have better time management. Okay, wonderful, super. You guys and gals have got this well and truly under control. How are we going for time? We're going pretty well. I should talk about procrastination. Let me get you to write a couple of things down. Procrastination is the greatest robber of self-confidence, self-esteem. If you know in your heart of hearts that you should do something and you don't do it, it eats away at you. And What's the greatest enhancer of self-confidence? Self-discipline. If you know you should do something and go and do it, a sense of accomplishment, a sense of progress is what drives us as adults, as human beings on this planet. We need to feel like we are making progress. And so one of the things I can share with you is that if you want to beat procrastination forever, wrote a whole book on this, by the way. If you want to beat procrastination forever, then forget about finishing it and focus on starting, taking the first step. What I can share with you is a good plan started today is better than a perfect plan started tomorrow. Your goal is not to get it right. Your goal is to get it going, then you can get it right. And so all too often, the reason why most people don't start is because they're looking for perfection. And what I want you to look for is progress. If this makes sense to you, please put Y in the chat box. And so my final comment about procrastination, so how do you start? Pick the smallest, easiest thing to do. And the day you take the first step towards it, you've beaten procrastination, and you're more inclined to take the next and the next and the next and move towards what you really want to achieve. All right, step number 6. 4-week action plan. So I want you to think about this. What do you need to accomplish in the first week? What do you need to accomplish in the second week? What do you need to accomplish in the third week? And what do you need to accomplish in the fourth week? You don't need a massive plan. You just need to know, what do I need to do this week? So I'll give you an example. For me and my business, when I'm growing my business, when I'm building up massive momentum in my business, when I'm getting that flywheel, so to speak, spinning, I contact 7 people every day. Handwritten note, text, LinkedIn message, phone call, unconditional gift in the mail, not email. I want to connect with them, not just communicate with them, but connect with them. And so I do that. 7 contacts a day is 35 a week. Let me say this to you. If you contacted 35 people a week, somebody's going to say yes. You cannot be that crappy. Someone is going to say yes. Because write this down for me, please. Activity cures inactivity. Activity cures inactivity. If you are stuck, stale, and stagnant, if it ain't happening for you, take action. Do that consistently for the next 90 days. I guarantee you will build a foundation that in 3 years' time you'll look back and go, all of those distributors, all of those leaders, all that downline can be contributed to that activity in that 90 days. I guarantee you. I guarantee you that. So you need an action plan. Now, on top of this, what you now need is to understand the amplified attitudes. So you have to, do you get this? That you have to go there mentally before you go there physically. You have to go there mentally to go there physically, which means you have to master your mindset. What I call amplified attitudes. What do I mean by amplified attitudes? You have to, whatever the attitude is, people say, oh, I've just got to be positive, Keith. What the hell does that mean? You know what you've got to do? You've got to turn it up. You've got to turn up that attitude, but you need to pick a lane. You need to pick a lane. What does that look like? Well, there are 6 amplified attitudes. Let me ask you this question. What would happen? What would happen in your business if you turned up with every cell in your body, from the soles of your feet to the top of your head, with every cell in your body believing that you were courageous? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you think? What would you say to others, and what would you say to yourself if you were courageous? How would you turn up? Would there be anybody that you would not approach about your business? Would there be anybody? What would happen if you were tenacious? If you were tenacious, Because here's what you might want to write this down. Tenacity wins every race. In direct sales, tenacity wins every race. What would happen if with every cell in your body you believed that you were tenacious, that you would absolutely hold on tight? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you think? What would you say to yourself? What would you say to others if you were tenacious? If you were limitless, if you had limitless opportunities and limitless energy, how would you turn up? What would you say? What would you do? What would you think? How would you turn up every day? What would happen if you were grateful? But not just grateful when everything went great, but grateful for the challenge, grateful for difficult. You know what? Here's what I say to people: fall in love with difficult. Because if it was easy, we'd all be Olympians. We'd all be gold medalists. So you want to be grateful for the people who say no, because here's what I can tell you. I learn more from the defeats. I learn more from the setbacks. I learn more from those things than I do from the victories, from the yeses. What else? What would happen if you were empowered? If you were no longer waiting for people to give you permission to step into the light? How would you turn up? How would you turn up? What would you say? What would you think? What would you do? And what about self-love? Wow. If you were no longer your harshest critic, if you are now your best friend, if you were your greatest coach, how would you turn up? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you think? What would you say to yourself? What would you say to others? If you are no longer the critic inside you and you cut yourself some slack, what would you achieve? What could you achieve? Here's what I'd like you to do. I'd love you to put in the chat box which one of these 6 amplified attitudes is going to be the mindset you have moment by moment, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day for the next 90 days. Which one is it going to be? Take a moment, put that in the chat box for me if you'd be so kind. What do you got there? Oh, tenacious, yeah. Limitless, courageous, Tash. Yeah, Linko, limitless. Wonderful. Carolyn, grateful. Yeah, grateful should be. You know what? Grateful should be our default mode right now in the middle of COVID. We need to be grateful. Self-love, tenacious, Robin and Grace. Yep, wonderful. Matthew, tenacious. Yep, self-love. Yep. Robin, self-love. Sam, courageous. Wonderful. You guys got this. You got it beautiful. I love all this participation. Limitless. Just seeing an opportunity despite the difficulties. Yes, fan. 100%. 100%. All right. So let's keep on tracking here. So page 6 in your workbook. I want you to take a moment. And in actual fact, I want you to do this. Is go away from this session and I want you to have a good, solid look at yourself. And I want you to identify what skills you need, what knowledge you need to gain, what do you need to improve in your approach or your business, and I also want you to think about that mindset. So we've covered mindset, but I want you to think about what skills. And if it's okay, I want to just spend the last part of this time with you today and talk a little bit about virtual and what I've learnt from virtual, if that's okay. I'm happy not to. I'm happy to do whatever you want me to do. But I'm really conscious that in this new world, we have to become better at connecting with people through this virtual experience. But before I get there, I'd like you to just think about what are some of the skills you need to do. Are you great at prospecting? Are you great at starting conversations with people? Are you great at connecting with people? Now, you'll notice that I use the word connecting and not communication. Here's what I do know. If I have a connection with you, I'll give you the example. If I don't have a connection with you, I can send you 100 messages and you'll answer none of them. But if I have a connection with you, and I send you 100 messages, you'll answer all of them. We need to stop communicating and we need to start connecting. I know people are really active on social media, and what I want to say about that is the thing I can say to you about social media is this. Sorry, I'll get on the right camera here. The thing I can say about social media is this, is that you need to be consistent with it, but you need to be adding value to people's lives. One of the leaders I worked with in another direct sales, she was just about to give up. She was one of their, and just worn her down and everything like that, and had a great goal setting session with one-on-one with her. And I just said, okay, let's look at what it is that you need to be consistent at. And we talked about social media. One of the things I said is that, and I'm not an expert around social media, but I said, you've got to get great at social media. And it's just not the happy pick. It's something that people engage with, energize, enthuses people, add value to them. And she went away, did a course, and just that whole shifted her business. Now that was for her. It might not be for you. Maybe prospecting's for you. Maybe it's showing your business opportunity to people. Maybe it's follow-up. Maybe it's onboarding people. You're great at getting people on board with energy and enthusiasm, and then you move on to something else. And you want to embed people. When people sign up as a distributor, they're a distributor, but they're not inducted. They're not on board yet. And so it's getting good at that. All right, so what do you need to change and develop? What do you need to enhance? So if you want to create a connection with your potential distributors or with your current team members, here's what you need to do. Before you do anything, you need to build credibility. You need to build your credibility with people. How do you do that? By adding value. What do you do after? It's about having a conversation with people. The amount of people that connect with me on LinkedIn and then they just want to try and sell me something in that first, after I've accepted the connection it's just crazy. And so have a conversation with people. And once you've had a conversation with people, you want to make sure that the person, when they finish that message or hang up the phone or end the Zoom call, you want them to go, geez, that was a confirmation of a good choice. I'm glad I spoke to Mary. I'm glad I spoke to Sam. I'm glad I spoke to Claire. And so the confirmation. And then, of course, the other thing is once they do become a distributor, we need to make sure that we have a contacting program with them that is both one-on-one, one to a few, one to many, and one to the masses. And we need to make sure we build that. Now, how do you do that? Well, the virtual world is the new world we operate in. Now, I've got to tell you, I'm not an expert at this. I'm getting better all the time. I'm testing things out. I sometimes forget to flick the button or whatever it might be, like I did before. Rookie mistake, Keith, hello. But here's what I can share with you. Page 7 in your workbook. There are 8 not negotiables. If you want to present well, pitch, persuade, and prospect virtual. So here are the 8 as we go through. Here's what I can tell you. Everybody now is in the front row. Everybody's only an arm length away. Everybody's in the front row. So they can see everything. They can see you do the minute detail to raise an eyebrow. They can see all of that now. We're in a normal seminar, workshop, whatever. There's, the auditorium's full. And so everybody is in the front row. What does that mean? Here's the second one. You've got to have your camera at eye level. So often I see people and they've got the camera or the computer too low, or they've got it too high, or they've got it, I'll talk about this in a moment, but you have to have your camera at eye level. Why? Because it frames you the right way, which is my next point. Camera position, you need to be front center. If you know a little bit about photography, and I'm a keen photographer, you'll know it's all about thirds. This third, this third, this third, this third, this third, and this third. And you want to be in the middle. And so when you are doing your presentations, you want to be in the middle of the framing of it. Not over here. Oh, look, it's really great to talk to you today, John. And no. You want to be right here, right in the middle. And you want to make sure this camera is at eye level. So, what else? Stage your background. What does that mean? Take a moment and think about, what are people seeing behind me? What are they seeing to the side? What are they seeing, around me? If it's just a white blank wall, put a painting on it. Put some character into it. Otherwise, it washes you out. This is one of my daughter's paintings. Put the book and some of the awards over here, and a little, if you can see just on the frame, a little bit. Now, it's not perfect by any stage, but it works, and it gives some variety as part of that process. See, what message are you sending when you've got this? And I share this with you. I saw a CNN reporter, and they were presenting at their kitchen table, and I've watched this guy a few times. And firstly, and I'll talk about this in a moment. First, he had his old college, sweatshirt on, and he had the camera too low, so he's sort of looking down his nose at you. And then, but in the back, he had all these bookshelves, but they had all these files in them, and it looked like all these research papers the last 20 years. I thought, he's a grub. All of a sudden, all of his brand credibility, his brand relationship just got burnt in that one image. What message are you sending to people? Attention to detail. So everything is amplified virtual. So the attention to detail about making sure everything is working, everything is perfect as part of that process. Remember, you're connecting with people to start a conversation. You want to impress them. They don't want to go, they've got a similar setup to me, it's a bit average. No, you want to go, wow, they're switched on. They're switched on. Here's the other one, stand up to stand out. Stand up to stand out. So if you're going to be pitching and talking to someone about the business opportunity, make sure you're standing up. Why? If you have no energy or low energy, you have no audience. If you're sitting down there and this is the fourth, Zoom call you've done, you're probably starting to get a little fatigued. Virtual has a way of doing that to you. So Keith, I don't have a stand-up desk. You don't have to. Go and get a couple of boxes of product and whack them under the computer and get your computer up. By the way, everything in this spare bedroom is Hollywood. It looks great from in front of the camera. There's cables going everywhere. There's lights, They're not going to see that. But stand up to stand out. Dress standards. I get dressed for every presentation. I don't know if everyone gets dressed, but I put a business shirt on. Why? Because it's important. This is important. I'm seeing people, trying to sell me stuff on Zoom or whatever, and they got an 8-year-old Bon Jovi T-shirt on and a 4-month beard that they should never have had in the first place. It's little things like that send the message. What's the last one? Plan for engagement. Here's what I can tell you. You have been wonderful today, by the way, but you know what? Everything that I ask you to do in the chat box, I pre-planned. Because what I can tell you is where hands go, attention flows. Where your hands go, your attention flows. If you're not doing anything with your hands, virtual, you'll get people to start to drift off and lose their attention. Look at their phone, whatever it might be. You haven't had time to do that on this call. Well, you probably have, but who knows? Page 7, 3 other things I wanted to cover with you. Got about 5 minutes to go. If you want to be memorable for all the right reasons, if you want people to refer you to other people, so refer you to their friends, whether it be a customer or to become part of the business. Or in actual fact, let me get you to do this. Of those 8 that I just covered off, before I jump into these 3, of those 8 I just covered off, here's what I'd love you to do. In the chat box, which one of those 8 you think, Keith, I have got to nail this. I've got to do this. When you were talking about it, I went, that makes so much sense, and I need to do this. So, wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for saying I'm inspiring. Appreciate it. Stand up to stand out. Yeah, Van, good one. Robin, stand up, stand out. Great validation. Yeah, look, I bet you some of you are already doing this. Staging your background, Coral, yep. I want to learn more from you, Keith. Your message today is about, well, thank you, Josie. I appreciate it. Stand up to stand out. if you do anything, stand up to stand out's really, really important. Plan for engagement. 4, 6, and 8. Thank you, Doc. What else? What else we've got? Stage the background 6, which was, I don't know what it was, but that's good. Plan for engagement. Stand up and dress code. Yep, stage the background. Okay, cool. But you got the perfect way to stage the background. You got product. You know, you got product, you can do that. Wonderful. All right, super, excellent. Okay, back here. So memorable, repeatable, referable. Now, do you need a setup like I've got? No, you don't. Here's what you do need. You need a few things. You need good lighting and not the fluoros in the ceiling or the downlights. You need good sound. So you can hear me really well because I've got this microphone, Sony wireless microphone. So it doesn't matter where I walk in the room, the sound's going to be the same all the time. Here's the next one. Vision. So unless your computer's got a decent camera, you're probably going to need to get a camera. But most modern computers, my iMac in my office, its camera is as good for Zoom, I might add, than the 3 Sony digital SLRs I've got floating around. So a couple of little things here just to help you go. Can I give you some suggestions of equipment that you might want to do, and then I'm going to wrap things up here. So a couple of things here. Now, by the way, I don't want you to spend a fortune, a couple of $100 at the most. In actual fact, you can probably get away with $100, but it'll make all the difference. So let's say your camera in your computer is all good, okay? Here's what you want. You want some decent lights. I know you probably can't see this, but I'll whack it on full screen. And now I'm not plugging anything here or anything like that, but I just went on Amazon Australia and I went, okay, what's a couple of decent lights? $60. $60, 2 lights, and here's what those 2 lights will do. You get one there and you get one there, and it gives you even light on here. If people can't see your face really well, they won't trust you. If people can't hear you, they won't connect with you. So, lights important. If you want to go something funky and you're using your iPhone, which is a great camera, by the way. If you go onto YouTube, you can actually plug your iPhone in or your Android phone into your computer. A few things to work around, but you'll get great quality out of that as well. And you could use a light ring like this. So once again, I'll just put that on full screen for you. So that's a little bit more expensive. That's over my $100 budget, but that's $116. So come back now. So let's stick with the first light. That was, how much was that? That was $60. Microphone, $45. So now I've just gone over 100 and I've got a decent microphone that I can use standing at my desk or sitting at my desk. I can do that. Probably can't necessarily use this one to move around the room, do something on a flip chart, but that will work as well. Is it okay that I've been getting into a little bit of detail here? So, okay, wonderful. So let me now flick back here and go, what's the next piece of the puzzle? Well, I think everything that we've talked about today in this session is about you becoming better, braver, bolder, so you can become more brilliant. This is about, I love this quote from Edmund Hillary, it's not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves. It's not you and me, it's not the economy, it's not the government, it's not the budget, it's not the dollar, it's not COVID. It's that you and I need to become better. And in the process of becoming better, we can move ourselves towards what we want and move away from what we don't want. And that's, so very vital and important. Here's what I'd like you to do in the chat box as we head down the home track here. What's been the key message? What's been the key message from today? Take a moment, if you'd be so kind, and type in there for me, what's been the key learning from you? What's been the message that either hit you in the head, hit you in the heart, made you really stop and think? What's been that absolute key message for you as part of this process? Be bold, take action. Yep, good. We want more, Van. Okay, thank you. just get on with it and get focused. I'm glad you talked about focus. I want to talk about that before I wrap up. That's my closing. Procrastination is the biggest robber of self-confidence. Okay, get going now. Thanks, Carolyn. Create a connection. Thanks, Tracy. I love standing as a presenter. Yep, good. Thank you, Gail. Consistency creates confidence. I love it. Love it. Full confidence. Wow, super. Some really great messages. All right, I'm getting close to my time. Otherwise, people are going to get the hook out and take me right out of this whole game. Let me wrap things up, and thank you for your comments there. Progress over perfection. Wow, this has been really impressive. So let me go back to my camera here and just wrap things up. A couple of things here to focus on. If you'd like some more information, if you want some free resources, go to keithabraham.com/resources, and there's articles, there's downloadable sheets, there's a whole stack of stuff you can download. A couple other things. If you want to connect with me, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, any of those, you're most welcome. Look for Keith Abraham and you'll find me, Keith Abraham CSP. If you'd like me really just to get something every week from me, is I do a blog every Wednesday. And if you want to go to keithabraham.com/subscribe, you can get my blog. Go to my website, it's all on, all that information is on there. Last and final message for you as we go through. Here's what I want you to think a little bit about. I want you to starve your distractions and feed your focus. Starve your distractions and feed your focus. It's really important that you stop and think about what it is that you need to do differently to move yourself forward. What are you going to do 1 hour from now? What are you going to achieve 1 day, 1 week? And obviously you've already got your 30-day plan. My final message to you is that if it's not you, then who's going to do it? And if now's not a good enough time, when will it ever be? How many more people like me do you have to listen to before you say enough's enough? And Pamela, I think that's enough from me. Thanks very much.
Well, Keith, you certainly powered through a lot of content in a very short time. Incredible. I'm just still busily writing notes as you wrap up and just sort of looking at the chat and seeing all of the comments here. It's quite incredible. I love the activity cures in activity. What a great cure activity. That's incredible. Mind-blowing. And I really loved what you said about loving difficulty, because I think, you know, I'm sure for many of us, I know for myself that some of the most difficult times in my life to date have been the times that have shaped me, and some of the really hard, tough projects that I've been part of have been the ones that have really given me the biggest growth. So I think that's a really powerful message there, that to remove the fear out of that difficulty. Starving your distractions, I think that's brilliant. Absolutely. We have a lot of distractions when we're running a home-based business. You know, that social media keeps creeping up on the phone, and next minute you've had an hour or two on Instagram instead of doing business building activities. So I think there's just, I could go on and on. I think there's so many powerful messages there, and I'm getting the feeling that people want to see more of Keith Abraham. Drop a yes in the chat if you want to see more of Keith
I want to just say thanks, Pam. I'm just looking at all the beautiful comments people have made about the presentation and about my style and me, and I want to say sincerely thank you for the opportunity. It's a delight to be, you know, virtual with people who get the message and are ready to hear the message. So I appreciate the opportunity. So there's lots of yes pleases there, which is super.
We haven't had a no yet, Keith. So I think we're
look, send me the address. Whoever says no, send me the address. So.
Well, I think, you know, if anyone's going to make a difference, Keith, it's going to be you. I've seen the success as a result of the work that you do with distributors. So it's quite incredible. Everybody, thank you so much for joining today. And Keith, we'll let you go. And
thank you.
Don't think you're getting away from LifeVantage that easily. We'll definitely be hooking up for some more partnership together. Did you want to throw something in? Sorry, Keith.
No. Just to say goodbye and all the best for the rest of the week and for the next 90 days.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be checking in on the results. Be sure of that, Keith. Thank you, Keith Abraham. Till next time.
Cheers, everybody. Ciao.
Thank you.
Kate.
And team, we'd love to see, your results out of your workbook, and also please send through any feedback to both Claire, Ange and myself. Ange, if you just want to drop in our email addresses there on the chat. And you guys, we always love to get feedback on our speakers. Keith, as I said in the beginning, is well renowned in our industry across the globe. He's hard to snatch up, and we were really fortunate to get him today. So we really appreciate all of you being on the call. I'm going to hand over to Claire now. Before I hand over, remember, we've still got the friends and family discount promotion going hard. I know a lot of you are really leveraging this and helping to build your customer base. And also, Flip the Switch is going. We believe, Ange, Claire and I, the three of us said we feel it in our waters, as we say as women. We can feel it in our waters that October is going to be our biggest month to date in the South Pacific region. We can just feel that energy rising in our conversations with leaders, in our conversations with new distributors. That's right, Ange, October is going to be huge, and I'm getting goosebumps. So super excited. There's everything you need, guys. You've got the training, you've got the systems, you've got the promotions, you've got the business, you've got the customer, you've got the most incredible product. Well, I believe one of the most incredible activators on the planet, and an incredible business opportunity. What else do you need? Just go out and do it. Recruiting is the answer to all the challenges in your business. Please welcome Claire Duke. Hey, Claire.
Thank you, Pamela. Hello, everyone. Wow. I don't know about the rest of you, but Keith has really, really just raised the bar for us and was incredible. So everyone that loved Keith, just put a love in the chat, because we'd love to see all the recognition for Keith. But we have someone else very, very special with us today, and we would like to invite Carl. I'm not even going to try and pronounce your last name. Every time I struggle, so I will ask Carl to pronounce his last name. He is our newest Pro 5, so congratulations to Carl. Well done. So we just wanted to get him on here for a little chat with everyone and ask him a few questions. So welcome, Carl.
Hey guys. Thank you, Pam and Claire, for the opportunity to share my story and journey here. Actually, my heart is pounding right now. But anyways, let me introduce myself. My name is Carl, and for those who doesn't know me, I'm currently based here in New Zealand. So anyways, guys, nothing fancy about me. I have no tertiary education background, but I have something that everyone doesn't have. You know that? It's because I have a master's degree in high school. And you must be confused, why master's degree in high school, eh? Because guys, 11 years ago, before moving here in New Zealand, I finished high school already. And when we migrated here, we were shocked that university is so expensive. I think same there in Australia, right? And at that time, we are not resident. And the only way for me to stay here is to go back to high school and drop subjects and repeat another year for 4 years until we got a residency. But anyways, after my final graduation here, I lost my interest in studying, because imagine 8 years in high school, right? So I decided to work full time. And I've been working in retail and sales industry for the past 5 years. And it was cool and fun, right? And what I did not like about my job is, even though how hard I work every year, I only earn a little amount because, I have no college degree. So I have no free time as well. And I felt that I don't have any sense of financial security for my future. And guys, when LifeVantage was introduced to me last year, I was so grateful. You know why? It's like someone's offering me a royal flush on a poker game. And so I went all in straight away because, imagine royal flush in a poker game. That's a win, a big win, right? So I studied it. I take action. I wasn't worried about failing because I'm young and I have so much time to make mistakes. And in return, I learned so much, and I grow so much as well. So nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. So that's why I got excited when I saw a chance for me to finally get paid what I'm worth. And I saw an opportunity for me to have money and time at the same time. And when I saw LifeVantage, I said to myself, this is it. Now, this is my chance to retire my parents. Because, you know, guys, all of us wants to give back, right? Do you agree with me? But the problem is, how can you give more to others if you yourself doesn't have enough, right? So, you know, guys, I've been involved with this company for a year now. Actually, last month was my anniversary. That's why we hit the Pro 5. And you know, guys, I'm loving it. The flexibility to wake up whenever you want and to work wherever you want. And now I'm having more time, especially with my family, and I started to dream big again. Anyways, that's all of me. Let me share my journey in achieving Pro 5. Guys, it wasn't easy, right? Because if it was easy, everyone could do it, right? And the reason why I did it, because we have a fantastic system that works for everyone. And this is the most important thing. We have a strong mentorship and leaders ready to help, and with the help of the full support of the company. And you know, guys, I would like to thank big time my mentor, Van. I know he's here watching right now, for never giving up on me, especially since the day I started. And you know, guys, running the Pro 5, it was like we are halfway through 4 days before the month finished. And, you know, we decided, me and Van said, like, you know, we'll make it happen until to the last minute. And that's why we made it. And I wouldn't take all the credits because this is 100% team effort. So I would like to thank my team for supporting me all the way. Now that I have made it, guys, you are the next, right? I told Van, I'm with you, bro. We will never stop when, you know, when we are not finished, right? We will stop when we are done. Right now, we will create results after results now that we have this amazing offers going on as well. So guys, if I can do it without tertiary education background, then what more you? Now, there is no doubt that you can do it as well. So that's all for me, Claire.
Oh, wow. Awesome, Carl. And I know there's even more bigger things coming for you. You shared your goal with me yesterday. Do you want to tell everyone what your goal is? What's next for you?
So for the next month, because we achieved Pro 5 already, so I'm planning to maintain it for 2 more months. And you know, guys, we're gonna achieve the, what do you call that one? The
Pro 5 Summit?
Yeah, Pro 5 Summit. And you know, it's not just me, but for my team as well. You know, we will create more Pro 3s. And now that I have achieved Pro 5, it's easier to mentor my team. Like, look, I have made it. No doubt you can do it as well. So yeah, that's the goal. So we keep, you know, we'll create a Pro 3 factory.
Fantastic. And we look forward to you maintaining and heading over to Pro 5 Summit next year. So congratulations again. I know that you have a great team beside you, underneath you, above you, Van and yourself. You know, you have big dreams and big goals for your team. So thank you so much for jumping on today. We really, really appreciate it. So guys, Pam wrapped it all up, but we just want to say we're going to have another success training webinar next month in November. So make sure you and your team are on. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to Keith Abraham. Have a fantastic Wednesday. I think every day should be a Wednesday. And we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone.